Good evening. Welcome to the Welcome to the February 3rd, 2026 Millis School Committee meeting. We will start with attendance. Ms. Canistrai.
Here.
Excellent. Ms. Briggs.
Here.
I am here. Ms. Starides.
Present.
Excellent. And Mr. Underhill is not here tonight. Superintendent Mullaney is here with us, as is Shalene Volpe, our school business accountant. I'll read this announcement and then we'll jump in. So this meeting is being recorded and can be viewed on Mondays at 7 p.m. on Comcast Channel 8 or Verizon Channel 37. All meeting videos are also posted to the Millis Public Schools website under School Committee. All videos are also available on YouTube. All school committee minutes and agendas can be found on the school committee page of the Millis Public Schools website. Persons wishing to speak during open session must sign in before the meeting starts. Comments are not to exceed 3 minutes in time. Individuals may not name students, staff, or parents. All topics for discussion must be limited to those items listed on this evening's agenda, and all comments must be directed to the chair. The committee may not respond to public comments. It shall be their decision to discuss issues at a later date, and all times are approximate. No one for public comment that I know, right? Excellent. So we'll start with our student representative. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Nicholas Roy, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of the things that are happening around the high school and some things that are coming up. On February 5th, Thursday of this week, we will be having a college planning and admissions panel for junior students and parents, which will be a virtual event held at 6 p.m., and it will be geared towards the college readying process, including the college planning process and the admissions process. It should be very useful and informative for junior families to know a bit more about how to get going with the college process. Additionally, from February 16th to February 20th, we will have February vacation at the high school. For clubs, from the music department, Cabaret is this Friday, February 6th, where there will be a musical performance on Broadway pieces from the band and chorus at 7 p.m. in the high school cafeteria. Peer Leaders also hosted a thrift shop last week, which ended up being a huge success, as there was a whole variety of clothes available in many different styles. For senior projects, Chase O'Connell's senior project, writing and directing a play called Terminal, is in the works, as the drama club are learning and practicing the play to eventually get ready to present it. Additionally, Liliana Plaza's senior project, where she is accepting donations to build birthday boxes for kids in homeless shelters, is happening, where she's accepting birthday wrapping paper, balloons, frosting, sprinkles, candles, decorations, and other fun items. Finally, Lexi Ryerson's senior project, where she's facilitating the coming of Buttonwood Zoo at Roach Brothers Community Room at the Millis Public Library on February 17th, 2026, is happening, where you can sign up for $15 per participant to see a live animal presentation. For sports, Kiara Davis continues to do extremely well with her 7th place finish for the girls ski co-op, which is currently at the top of the leaderboard. Also, varsity and JV girls basketball is playing at Norton High School today, and varsity and JV boys basketball is playing against Norton High School at home today. And that's pretty much all that I have for you guys today. Does anyone have any question?
No.
Excellent. Thank you.
We have Ms. Streck and guests, and if you need another chair, just pull one out there.
Welcome.
I could be really loud, so it's fine. So we just wanted to tell you all about the Marine Biological Laboratories trip that the STEAM and some of the members of the AP Environmental Science class took from the 21st to the 23rd. We were able to get a grant to go down. The state actually gave the grant to MBL along with some donations, so our students were able to attend the 3-day experience at no cost. Typically, if we wanted to do that, it would have been about $1,400 a student, but we were able to do that for free. And then Merit generously awarded us a grant to cover the transportation costs. The students, we all met rather early on the Wednesday and took the bus down, And then we had 3 days where we worked in laboratories with researchers. The students were able to, and I guess they could tell you a little bit more about their general experiences, but they were able to do work in the laboratories with the researchers using both wild cyanobacteria and laboratory-grown cyanobacteria. And would you all like to tell them a little bit about your experience?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we had 2 different labs that we worked on throughout the 3 days. So we would go every day, and we would have in the morning we would have like lecture time first to learn a bit more about cyanobacteria and also viruses, which was really interesting because we had learned some of it in biology in years before over here, but this was sort of more in depth and really like in like practice, like we would see it happening in lab right after learning it in lecture, which was interesting. So there were 2 different labs. Do you want to talk about those?
Yeah, so the first lab that we conducted was we went out outside the MBL to the beach and just areas around to collect wild samples. We collected algae, barnacles, a little bit of seawater,
Yeah, a lot of different types of like samples.
and then we put them in petri dishes and we let them incubate overnight, and then we got to put them under the microscope and examine what cultures grew, which was really cool.
Yeah, and for the second one, we had different petri dishes with bacteria called nostoc, and there were 2 different viruses that were in the petri dishes along with the nostoc. And basically what we did is we put these different petri dishes under different conditions such as light temperature or salt concentration, and basically we were able to see how these different cultures would be affected over time, over the 3 days actually. And what we saw was that there were many changes in density of the cyanobacteria and also color, which turned a lighter green. And it was really interesting to see this, and we actually made presentations at the end to really show what we learned and all of our data that we collected.
Yeah, it was really awesome because we broke out into 3 groups for that project with the nostoc. So there was a light group, a salt group, and temperature. And each group changed something differently, and they also had a control group, yeah. So you got to actually, each group came up to their own conclusions with that, and then we all sort of shared the data and the knowledge that we found individually to sort of help with the group's understanding. Because what's cool is like some groups found something that would like be more detrimental to the culture across 2 different things, like more salt versus less light. They would find similar trends in how it would go down as far as the density of the cultures, but it would be for different reasons, of course, and in different amounts.
And they also were able to get a tour of the rare books section, basically the library for all of the research institutions down at Woods Hole. They were able to hold a Nobel Prize that one of the researchers had earned for their work on fruit flies. And then we also were able to see some of the areas where they raise or hold during the experimentation time, some of the different marine organisms. They all got to hold a horseshoe crab and see some different things, and they were talking about some of the research of that whole process, which I think was valuable. The great thing to see for us, Mrs. Cheney and I, was that we were able to see the students use some of the tools they had learned here, using their, and kind of take it up to that next level, do presentations, the type of presentations that they will do when they go to college, when they have to do poster presentations and things, and just kind of see everyone's excitement throughout the rather long days, but very interesting days.
And what type of equipment were you working with?
We were using a lot of like these micropipetters. So at the start, we sort of learned how to use them, which was interesting because I think it's going to be tools that we may use in the future.
Sure.
So we got like a really cool demonstration to see exactly how to use them, and then we really used them in practice to like make cultures fully done, and then we could inspect the cultures after. So yeah, that was really interesting to see how different tools work in actual lab environment.
Right, in a state-of-the-art lab.
It's
Was-
amazing. Sounds like a great
Yes.
trip. Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
does.
Was there anything that was like surprising of in any context of of the trip, like something you either weren't expecting or just what a
I mean, not as much surprising, but I thought it was a really good impression of what college is gonna look like because we got to stay in dorms and like the food experience and then also lectures and labs. So and also the independence, obviously.
Yeah.
So it was not like surprising,
Sure.
but it was something I think good to see that before we go off to college to see exactly how it's gonna look like. And I thought that was useful.
great. Yeah, sounds like a great trip. Yeah.
I heard reports secondhand that the Millis students were handled themselves like real professionals and got some kudos from the people that run the
Yes.
marine biology lab.
If they have the funding, we are invited back to attend again next year.
That's great.
And I'd like to thank Ms.
Fantastic.
Streck for all her work getting that.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
I
thank
mean,
you
that-
so much.
that's the
Thank you.
equivalent
Thank
of over $20,000 for our kids.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Good job.
excellent. Yeah, thank you all very much.
Yeah, thank
So,
you.
Thank you.
Can I ask just for you to introduce yourself, just so we can put your name on the record with everybody
I'm
else?
Ben Vaccaro. I'm a junior. I was his roommate there.
Oh, gotcha. Excellent, excellent. Well, welcome.
Is he a
Thanks
good
for-
roommate?
Yeah.
He doesn't snore, which is good.
Then he was a good roommate. That's fantastic. Yeah. No, thank you very much for sharing it with us. It's great to hear it, and great to hear that. Unsurprisingly, you guys are. Kudos to you for how you handled yourselves. It's
Good
fantastic.
representatives of our.
That's
Yes.
that's what I was trying to.
That's
yeah,
great.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys very much. Thank you all.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thanks. So we have a few action items. The first one, I will abstain from voting and the consideration to approve the January 20th, 2026 meeting minutes. I was not present for it, but I can happily take a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Castry,
I make a motion to approve the January 20th meeting minutes.
Second.
moved and seconded. Any further discussion for it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3 ayes and 1 abstention. Passes. Next, we have consideration to approve the trip to Costa Rica for the 2026-2027 school year. And we have Ms. Pereira here to join. Thank you. Hi.
Aye.
I'm Nikki Pereira. I've been leading the school trips for a little while now. And the last time we did Costa Rica was 2019. And we also did it, I believe, in 2012. But they were both really successful trips. And when I realized that it had been almost 6 years, I'm like, okay, I think it's time to go back. So that's kind of how I thought about Costa Rica. This year we're going to Europe, and we did Spain last year. We were in Europe, and then we had the COVID year. So yeah, I just wanted to get back to Latin America. So on this trip, we had 31 students apply for the trip. And that would, with a 6-to-1 ratio, give us 5 chaperones. It would be me and my two of my colleagues, Sarah Ames and Yvonne Fitzgerald. And then the 2 remaining chaperones, we would put out an application process. I find it kind of interesting. Some people, well, originally when I started doing this, they assumed that it'd be just immersion students, and it never has been. There is a good showing from the immersion group. There's going to be 13 students, 14 honor students, and then 4 students from the college prep level. And one of them's actually in my Spanish 1 class, so I think that's pretty cool. And currently all freshmen and sophomores applied, so they would all be sophomores and juniors on the trip. One difference between this trip and the Europe trip, I would say this is much more active. The kids get to hike, see a volcano, waterfalls, thermo pools. They get to really connect with I feel like there's a lot of speaking opportunities. We're going to an NGO where they use soccer as a way to build community, and we'll get to play soccer with them. There's also horseback riding, chocolate tour, zip lining, the fun stuff.
Right. Yeah, the itinerary looks, yeah, it looks like I want to
Yeah,
go to
looks
Costa Rica.
exciting.
Yeah.
Chaperone applications will be out.
Right?
And I can just say, Nikki's led trips for, I don't know how many years now. It's, like you just
I
said.
think the second year maybe, or the first year I started, so
So like
since 2008.
two decades of doing trips.
That's so weird.
But, it's a great experience for our kids to get out and have those experiences and use their Spanish and, see other cultures. It's a lot of work. The chaperones do an unbelievable amount of work. And it's really great that they're willing to do that to give the kids that experience.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Any questions before I'll take a motion if there's one out
Mr.
there?
Chair,
Ms. Briggs.
I make a motion to approve the trip to Costa Rica for the 2026-2027 school year.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sounds like a fun trip.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. My daughter just got back from Guatemala and she hiked and saw a volcano and they went surfing, like they're so active.
That's great.
Thank you. And so next is consideration to appoint a subcommittee for the MASC School Committee Policy Update Project. I know this was discussed at the last meeting that I was not present at.
Right, we
and
needed more
Mr.
information because
Right.
we weren't sure what the time commitment was. And
Sounds like what, once a month? Is that what it was in the email?
Yeah, they said monthly meetings, about 1 to 2 hours for the meeting and about an hour of prep time before the meeting.
Could be remote or in person.
They could be either, whatever works for the committee. And Tracy Novick from MASC said, she can do it either way. And she says she'd like to get the agenda out, a week or so ahead of the meeting, so, you'd know what was coming up. And I know, I think Mr. Underhill expressed an interest in being on that committee.
Yeah, he needed more information. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
he
had
reached back
sent
out to
that.
you saying that. I don't want to appoint him when he's not
Right.
here.
Right, right.
I
When
know.
does
I
this
had sent
process
something
start?
out.
Sorry.
You said something out explaining like what the time commitment was. That was what our question was. So I don't know if he responded to you saying that he would be interested in doing
Yeah,
that.
let me just check, because it's a good point.
Yeah.
What was it called? Yeah. Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah.
Do you know when when would the,
It would start,
when would we start?
it'd
the
start,
first-
I think, let me see. So Mr. Underhill did email and said, given that I'm new to the committee, it would make sense that I be on this subcommittee so I can better learn the policies.
Okay, he's responding to a text message I just sent him right now. Yes, please, it makes sense for me to do it.
And then, let me see.
And
Sorry, when did you say it was?
Yeah,
it's
I'll check
the
on
school
that.
building, I just, Jamie, do you have capacity? We're both on the school building committee. Do you have capacity to join Peter on this?
I'm fascinated by it, but unfortunately, I'm taking on another class. I teach like at night, so I'm gonna be teaching 2 nights a week plus this 3 nights
Okay.
a week. I'm
Okay.
busy. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'd love
No,
to,
it's
but
fine.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you have
When would,
capacity?
well, yeah, so I'm curious when the
Yeah, okay, oh yeah, so late February or in early March.
And it can't just be one of us? It has to be 2?
Right,
Yeah,
she had said it
But
has
it
to
can't be 3, so I guess
Right,
that's
exactly.
Yeah.
It can
Right.
be a quorum,
Yeah.
but it has to be more than one, because the subcommittee is the policy subcommittee. It's just the school committee. I'd be in on all the meetings, but I wouldn't be able to like bring things to the school committee meetings. That would have to come from the committee.
the capital planning committee kicks up and in budget season and I don't know that I can say yes to this at this moment. I hate to move it. I hate to kick it down the road.
When do we have to know by?
We
Well, I
just have
think-
to appoint, I think, to.
Yeah, I think, she had said, Tracy had said, looking to start in late February, early March. I mean, I think if we had to move that timeline down a little, if it would work better to get a subcommittee, I think we can do that.
Yeah,
So I don't think we need to make a decision tonight.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm inclined to. Let's.
Kind of put that on the table.
Yeah, and I mean we can assume that it is on our next agenda to appoint that subcommittee or appoint if that's
Do we
right,
need-
right.
2 people still on school building committee? Do we know?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it's,
okay.
I mean, I think we should, I think we can just like I'm trying not to impulsively say okay I'll do it because I don't
Yeah.
want to
Yeah, no,
overcommit and I don't want
get it.
anybody else to do that either.
so I think we can take some, if you have more questions, I can send them off to
Yeah, yeah.
Tracy and.
Yeah, let's postpone deciding that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna commit to making sure that we get that going at our next meeting.
We can just have a discussion and see. Is it possible to like sign a couple of us up so that
Like if Sean couldn't make it, Shanna could one time.
we just
or
always
I
make
can-
sure
yeah, I
there's
can-
Does it have
2,
to be
Oh,
two
whether it's a
names?
fluid
Just have to
subcommittee.
be
Yeah.
so to speak,
Yeah.
right?
Standing.
Yeah.
just to have
Yeah.
better coverage anyway.
Yeah, I can check.
If that's the case, I could throw my name in for like a periodic rotation, especially if
Just,
it's not a night that I teach.
I
just-
can ask that question.
That'd be great. Thanks,
okay,
Bob.
yeah, just so that we can,
Right, because it feels like Peter is very much wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So like,
Mhm.
that's okay.
consistent.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do that. We can just have that right on our. We'll just take that
Yeah,
same
once you
action
find
item for
out,
the next
we'll-
agenda and it shouldn't. Hopefully, it wouldn't mess with the timeline much that Tracy would have because it'll still be in February when
Right.
we're establishing it.
Yep.
Okay. I closed my tabs all of a sudden, sorry. That's it. Those were the action items that we had for tonight. There's time and learning. Do we have anything for time and learning today?
Time on Learning was kind of the trip to Woods Hole.
Sounds good
That's
to me.
great.
Okay, so then, and then we have a chair report, so MSBA update. If there is
Do you
anything
want to
relevant
or
to.
me?
Either way.
Representatives from the construction firms that have been invited to submit proposals for the Millis Middle High School project toured the school in more detail on January 30th to help inform their proposals. They had visited the building in December with other interested firms, and this was more of an in-depth look at the building. These firms have until February 4th, so tomorrow, correct?
Yep.
To submit proposals. Interviews will be held on February 26th at the Roach Brothers Room at the Town Library, which is open to the public, correct?
Right, it's not interactive. but
It's
you
not
can
Yeah,
go
correct.
come
And watch.
The selected construction manager is expected to be on board in early March. So if you are interested in sitting in to listen to the interviews, join them at the Roach Brothers Room in the town library on February 26th.
It's like all day. I think it's like
Yeah, I
3
have
to
that.
like 7 or something like that. Every hour is a different
Right, and
group
there-
presenting their proposal.
right. There are 3 firms now.
Oh, did one of them drop
One
out?
of them withdrew their proposal. They picked up another
Oh.
contract, so they withdrew. So the 3 remaining firms, and it's kind of why we picked 4,
Yeah.
in case one dropped out. Commodore, Fontaine, and W.T. Rich are the construction firms that have until tomorrow to submit their proposals. And the interviews on the 26th, we have the room booked from 3 to 8. So they'll probably start at 3. I don't think they'll go all the way to 8, but who knows?
Mr. Mulaney, did we miss an item?
There's
For the
something
scoreboard?
Yeah, I was going to have that
Oh,
go into new
a new
business.
business.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, sorry about
No,
that.
no, that's fine.
Because we didn't have that information until
Okay.
after the meeting was posted, but we can do it under new business.
Sure.
Great, thank you. Mr. Mulaney, you want to?
So, superintendent report,
Yep,
February
thanks.
enrollment. Clyde Brown picked up 2 kids in the month of January. The middle school dropped 1 student. The high school picked up 2. Ties remained at 3, and we have a out-of-district student came back to the district. So we're down 1 out-of-district students. Bottom line is, in district, we're at 1175, out-of-district, 1197. That's 2 more overall students than in January. And we actually had a couple kids who lived in Millis move to another town, so we're actually up 2 choice students for part of the year.
Yeah.
So we'll take it.
Right?
And then, I just have,
Oh, are you going to do the slides?
they'll pop up. So I just have a couple slides. The governor came out with her preliminary budget last week. Well, it's nothing we didn't expect. Once again, Millis will be receiving minimum aid by this, and this is a preliminary budget. It's not finalized. It still has to, the House and the Senate use the governor's budget as a basis for their budget proposals, and then they all get together and hammer out a final budget. It doesn't seem to be showing up here on the screen. It's been, but it is in the packet, I believe.
I have it.
So I can kind of just walk through and it'll be part of the packet, you know. So basically, the governor's preliminary budget, we're looking at minimum aid of $75 a student. And then just for an example, last year, the governor's preliminary budget had $75 per student increase over the prior year. In the final budget, it was bumped up to $150 a student, so we got about a little more than $80,000 more for that. It's great, we're not gonna say no to it, but it doesn't, you know, solve all the world's problems. And once again, the Chapter 70 formula is very challenging for the majority of districts in Massachusetts. This year, 270 out of 319 districts, nearly 85% of the districts in Massachusetts are only receiving minimum aid. And 3/4 of the districts in Massachusetts, there's been a lot of a decline in enrollment in a lot, 3/4 of the districts. We are slightly higher than last year, you know, but those few more students we haven't made, didn't make a big difference in our Chapter 70 funding.
Why do you think that is? So we have lower all districts have lower enrollment. Where are the kids going? They're all going to private schools?
Well, I think there's a lot of things. I think some of the districts like Framingham and some urban districts, the number of English learner students going to school is dropping
It's
because
down. It's down.
because they
Because
they
of
fear
immigration.
what might happen.
Immigration patterns.
Yeah. And so, you know, it is kind of a mystery. Like the largest drop was about 4 years ago, and you could explain it with COVID, kids transferring to private schools and things like this. This is a little more challenging to explain, you know, where the kids are going. Some private schools are seeing an increase in enrollment, but not at the same number. You know, so where are these kids going? And yeah, a lot of them are not going to school.
Well, in Boston, there's such a huge decline that we kind of like dug into it a little bit because same question. And yeah, private school is up since COVID. Also, immigration patterns will affect large urban districts the hardest, but it will affect every district in Massachusetts. And then birth rates are down. And there's some news reporting on families leaving Massachusetts for the cost of living in Massachusetts.
In the Millis projections, NESDEC, the New England School Development Council, does projections every year. Millis is expected to grow by about 4 to 5% over the next 10 years. So not steep growth, but we're pretty steady. And so, you know, and certainly Clyde Brown, you can see that bubble coming. The classes at Clyde Brown now are larger in size than the classes that were over there 10 years ago. So that's, you know, coming up from the schools.
That's really good news for us. It's really good.
Yes.
Says a lot about Millis as
Yeah.
a town.
Well, the
Boston's
fifth
been
grade-
losing for 10 years. 10 years straight, we've been losing kids.
I was going to say the fifth grade is the COVID grade. They were in kindergarten during COVID, so that's why their class is smaller. So it's good to see the other classes like growing.
Yeah. So just some of the details, and I can't stress enough that this is preliminary. You know, what we see in the end will likely be different, but it's not going to be extraordinarily different, I don't anticipate. So the Chapter 70 aid to Millis went up 1.55%. That's basically the $75 per kid. And then when you look at, we're getting some money in the governor's preliminary budget for charter school reimbursement. That may or may not survive the House and Senate. So when you add that into it, we're looking at a total increase in education aid from the state of 1.66%. And then the town side government aid, the town's only getting a little over $3,000 more this year than they did last year in general government aid. So when you put that all together, the total for the municipality, both school and town, is about 1.36%, about $95,000 more than last year. However, on the other side, what the state is charging the town has also gone up, and that's gone up 13%. So last year, the town was charged $385,000. This year, they're looking at $436,000 being charged to the town. So when you take what the revenue is and what the charges are, we're looking at overall in the town of Millis a 0.6 increase in funding from the state. So again, as we go through our budget, that means, once again, a larger percentage of the town's budget is on the backs of the taxpayers, and we're well aware of that. And, so as it impacts our budget in the schools, we're still working with the town to figure out what the revenues are, and we will be recommending a budget that takes all those realities into account. Again, just in summary, again, it's a preliminary budget. The House and Senate will use the governor's preliminary budget to hammer out theirs, and that takes months, and we usually don't have a final number until June, but our budget is due before June. Again, as I mentioned, this year the preliminary budget is $75 a student. Last year it got bumped up to $150, and certainly would welcome that. We don't know yet if there's enough money in the state budget to fully cover circuit breaker, to reimburse us 75% for all. But there's $150 million in the fair share amendment, the millionaire's tax, that the governor would like to use $150 million of that was collected in FY26 to use to supplement FY27. So hopefully that's a good sign for circuit breaker, but it's still too early to tell. So,
All right, thank you, Bob.
yeah. I wish I had fantastic news, but it is what it is.
Right. Yeah, thank you.
And then speaking of immigration and immigration patterns, that, there has been some concern in the community, seeing what's happened up in Maine and out in Minneapolis with ICE and kids of school age. And so, we've had a policy in place since January of last year, of 2025, that is based on the recommendations of the State Attorney General. And essentially, our protocols call for if ICE came to Millis, a school, or even a bus stop, which is considered, part of the school, no staff member can confirm or deny the personal information of any student or staff member. If someone came on campus and from ICE, they'd be sent to the superintendent's office. If they were asking about a kid, that kid's parents, guardians would be notified immediately. We also notify our legal counsel immediately. And I would meet with the agent, check the credentials, check the, if there was a warrant. The only way an ICE officer could detain someone in the school, arrest someone in the school, is if they have a warrant signed by a judge. An immigration detainer or any other kind of warrant that they came, an administrative warrant that's not signed by a judge, they could not enter the school and, detain anybody. And our protocols have been shared, all the officers are aware. We've worked with the Millis Police on what our protocols are. The bus drivers know that if there's someone at a bus stop that's an ICE agent, you don't let the kids off the bus. You do the route, and you bring those kids back to the school. An administrator comes out, escorts them into school, and, you know, we handle it in that way. You know, it's unfortunate that, you know, these families are dealing with this, and kids are scared, and kids in our community are worried and concerned. So, but, you know, again, that's our policy, and again, it's based on state law and the Attorney General's office in Massachusetts.
And you would also notify the Millis Police Department
Yes.
if ICE agents came onto school property?
Yes, yeah. And I guess the protocol is that if ICE were to do that, they're supposed to notify the local law enforcement, but I don't know if that's been happening in some of these cases we've seen around the country. So yes, we would call them immediately.
Thank you for letting our community members know. Hopefully it comforts some.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
And then, just in the packets, we have the accept annual report. You have the tech annual report in hard copy, and the Q2 reports for FY26, and budget and rate sheets for next year, some preliminary numbers that help us when we're doing our budget, and accept tuition rates are not going up, certainly not to the extent that some of the private schools are. It's much more reasonable. So that information's all in the packet as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then for new business, new business is would like to get a scoreboard for our baseball field, because it's very difficult when you go out there and they're playing a game and you have no idea what the score is. I have my office is perfect, looks right out onto the field, and I never know what the score is. But the boosters and the town's conservation committee are working on a plan to get a scoreboard. It would be out in left field, and they're still looking at pricing and things, but the conservation committee has agreed to jump in on this, because it's not just the high school uses that field, some of the other teams in town use the field, so that would make it viable for those community conservation funds. And there could be, depending on the price, there could be some contribution on the part of our athletic department, but that would be minimal. So what the Conservation Committee needs to move forward from their end is approval by the committee for the installation of a scoreboard on our baseball field.
Like, I know the pricing is still to be determined. Is there any sort of control in place for how much could end up needing to come out of the athletic department budget?
Yeah, we'd look at that. If it were cost prohibitive, we wouldn't, like right now, I think the maximum that would come out would be like $2,000,
Okay.
which we can certainly cover.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The scoreboard at the softball field is fantastic, except the paint is peeling off. The scoreboard company said there was a bad batch of paint they used, so they're gonna fix that all at no cost or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks great and it works great except for the peeling paint.
Yeah.
So can we do this like in two parts? Can we approve the installation so that the Conservation Committee can do what they need to do and then come back, so then we can just have what the cost is going to be presented to
Yeah,
us, and we
yeah.
vote on, I just want to
If
make
we have to
sure
contribute, absolutely.
what we are saying we can
Yeah,
afford.
absolutely. I think that's a good idea, because right now, it's just, we're still in the exploration stage.
Sure.
But we need to say, we're good with having a scoreboard there.
Yes.
Yes.
And then when the cost starts coming in, then we could have another vote, if we have to use athletic funds.
Right,
Right.
right, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds good to me, yeah.
I also just want to comment on the sharing with the community. I think that's amazing. I do think that that's a bit of a contentious issue with the softball scoreboard. It's been said that the softball kids are in the Millis Youth Softball Program are able to use that, and that it has not been the case since it's been installed, and the athletic department is not sharing the remote for the scoreboard with the group. So I just want to make sure that when we say we are going to share with the community, that we are doing that.
Yes.
I'm a member of the Millis Girls Softball Board, and we did meet with Coach Mack last week, and there was a discussion of him and the president of Millis Girls Softball working out a way for us to access it for the upcoming season. So those discussions are happening, but I would like to make sure that
I didn't know
there's,
that.
that there's
No,
follow
That's good,
through.
because it's a great, nice, big scoreboard.
Sure, yes, yes.
And that was part of it, the community was going to use it too, and community
Yes.
contributed to it. I just
And it
wanna
never
make sure
happened
that-
last year,
Yeah.
so we're trying to make sure that we get access to it this year.
Great.
Yep.
And I can keep us surprised of how that goes.
Yeah. So,
It just happened on Thursday night, that's why.
Oh, no, it
Yeah.
was great. I just wanted to make sure that.
so we can, I guess the motion that we would do is to approve the placement, or
Yeah, the placement of the school.
that it can be installed, yeah, okay.
That a scoreboard can be placed on the school property, right? Okay. Mr. Chair,
Ms. Canistrai?
I make a motion to approve for us to say yes, that a scoreboard can be placed on the high school baseball field.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
And I think, unless I'm something I'm not aware of, I think that is the end of our agenda. We do have an executive session scheduled following this to discuss strategy for negotiations with non-union personnel. So I would be happy to take a motion to
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Briggs.
I make a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss strategies for negotiation with non-union personnel, not to come back to open session.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and this is roll call to do this, correct? So, Ms. Canistrai?
Yes.
Ms. Briggs?
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. Eads?
Yes.
Excellent, 4 yeses, so that will conclude our meeting. Our next meeting is February 24th, 2026. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.